November the 11th, 2020. Guys, all my friends in Florida, we got a hurricane out in the Gulf, and you got tropical storm warnings up, and that may change to hurricane warnings just depending on how close the storm gets to shore before, according to the models, it weakens back to a tropical storm. We will see about that, guys. It's warm here in the south this morning. It's a little warmer than normal. We've had, if you can see across the Gulf there up into Mississippi, cloudy skies for the last few days, kind of cool, but today is warmer, muggier, and I think it's from the heat being pushed north out of the Gulf of Mexico by ETA. By the way, Theta, Theta, formed yesterday out in the Atlantic, which I think put us at 29 hurricanes, which broke all records. We talked about this going into grand solar minimum, and the next few years may be the same as we try to rise back out of the bottom of solar cycle 24 and rise to the peak of solar cycle 25. Of course, when that happens, solar activity increases. So you kind of pick your poison here. But anyway, we got 75-mile-per-hour winds. Let's take a look at the models. Now here's ETA. We're at 75 miles per hour, which again puts it at Cat 1. It's moving northeast. That's back towards Florida at 10 miles an hour. The barometric pressure is 983 millibars. Below that, we have another system that is moving in the same direction that ETA did. Remember, it came in here, is almost a Cat 5, and did a lot of damage in Central America. Then it looped back around and came up to where we see it now. Theta is a tropical storm now. It's moving towards Africa at this point. 60-mile-an-hour storm moving east-northeast at 10 miles an hour. But again, this one broke the records. Now, this is the latest update. Most of the models now have come together. Guys, even yesterday, I didn't do a video because the models were all over the place, going from Mississippi to Louisiana to Alabama. Just it's probably the least concise modeling I've ever seen on any hurricane. But that's just the way the weather patterns are setting up. 75 miles an hour, north-northeast again at 10 miles an hour. Notice at 7 a.m. in the morning, guys, it's coming ashore. And that's why I'm thinking that should put up hurricane warnings instead of watches. But it's coming ashore at 65 miles an hour, and that's going to slow down this storm. But as it approaches from Tampa north, then you've got a hurricane on your hands, guys. Thursday in the morning at 7 a.m., Thursday p.m., it's back out into the Atlantic. Where it goes from there, we'll have to watch the models. They show it clearing land and moving out into the Atlantic. Let's hope that's the case. Now, all the models are pretty much agreeing on this movement north and then a turn to the east, northeast, except the Canadian model, and it shows the turn to the east, but then getting caught up in another front and coming back into the upper Florida panhandle. We'll see. Most of the models now are showing it following the Navy model right up through this area here. If you look at the warnings, from Fort Myers, south of there, up through Tampa, north of there, you've got tropical storm warnings. North of there, you got tropical storm watches. Again, there's not a hurricane warning out yet. That's their decision, not mine, but I would have those up because you got a hurricane offshore, and more than likely it will come ashore, brush the shore before it starts to weaken as a Cat 1 hurricane. So you forget about these colors here. Remember, you got a hurricane coming. Cat 1 doesn't sound that strong. It can be devastating with storm surge and tornadoes. That's what you got to watch out for. And one of the things I want to point out, after it came off Cuba, we're looking at the wave height modeling. We were at 6-foot waves. It came in. We watched that loop down to the south at 9 foot, came back up at 11 foot. Now we got 16-foot waves plus offshore. And this is buoy indicated. 10 feet as you get closer to shore. As the storm's moving north, it's going to push this in front of it. Always your right side or the northeast quadrant right here, guys, is going to be the most powerful impact on land. I'm sure you're already feeling wind and gust, and it's been raining. We've been getting, like I said, partly cloudy, a few sprinkles for the last few days. But you guys now, you got a pretty good idea where this thing's going to come, other than the Canadian model. But so prepare accordingly. Make sure you got plenty of gas, some extra food and water, things like that. Now, looking at Sky Tower radar South Florida, you're already getting rain bands from Naples, Cape Coral, Northport, Bradenton, up to Tampa, and moving north of there. Offshore, you can see the center of circulation here. So it's not the the most powerful storm we've seen, but you can't let your guard down on one of these. This is looking at the Navy model, guys, and what you're seeing is this is the second storm. It has not been named yet, coming into the same area that Eta came in last week. But what we're seeing with Eta itself is it's moving through the Florida, or north section of Florida, across it, and then skating Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina on its way out. Notice that when you got your spaghetti models, it's showing you the very center of the location. But here you can see that even though the crossing of Florida will slow this thing back down to a tropical storm, you still got to watch it for your hurricanes, rains, ripped currents, and things like that along the East Coast shore as it moves back out into the Atlantic. Now, for the sake of argument, I'm not sure that the Canadian model has been updated this morning, but this is what you're looking at. Almost comes ashore, same area north of Tampa, loops back around, weakens, and comes into shore in the northern panhandle of Florida. We'll let it rotate again. Here we go. Coming up right there, skirts the shore, loops back out, weakens, comes ashore closer to the Panama City area, somewhere in there. But guys, this is what we're dealing with this morning. Again, you got rain moving in already. You got tropical storm warnings up. They should be hurricane warnings in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. But it's a heads up, guys. Be safe.